So the Bitcoin ETF just got approved. It's pretty breaking news right now. Definitely has the markets going up. There's a lot to talk about, everything from the future of crypto and where is it going, the future of Bitcoin, and then also the future of some other of the micro caps like Dogecoin, something that I've been a really big believer in. So Alan, tell me a little bit about like what's kind of gone on with the ETFs.
Man, so the SEC is basically the regulatory agency in America, and Bitcoin, there was some fighting about, is this an asset or is this a there's another word for it,
Liability.
currency.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like either a currency or an asset. So like if
Yeah.
it's an asset, then there's a bunch of tax, like it could be like a house or it could be like a trading card. But if it's a currency, then it is not subjected to a bunch of. So there was like a debate about it. Finally, actually, that debate isn't 100% over, but the SEC did allow for it to be in an ETF, which actually is leaning towards the SEC considering it as an asset, like a stock, rather than a currency, a stock rather than a currency. And that's actually really good because with that, a lot of times, like one of the big things about Bitcoin is that a lot of these big banks and stuff, and like 401ks and all these different portfolio companies that are like investment companies, investment firms, they refuse to invest in Bitcoin or put money in Bitcoin because the one thing that they would say is that it's not regulated under the SEC, and and there's no like security, and it's you can't even make an ETF out of it. And boom, so this is huge news because not only that, it's giving almost like validation. It is the number one agency in America validating Bitcoin as a safe investment asset. And that is going to flood the markets. You're going to have 401ks in Bitcoin, bro. You're going to have people that literally like 401k investment firms that have some money in Bitcoin. They're predicting that like 100 billion is going to flow into the market literally this year, 2024. And it's going
Right.
to they're saying that Bitcoin could hit 100K 2024, you know. And what do you think that's going to do to all the other ones that we always talk about,
Yeah.
the micro coins, the altcoins, like it's going to rise all of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the first thing for anyone that's been interested in crypto or has been following crypto, the first thing to acknowledge is like, clearly this is going to be a better year, or we're moving into the good years at least. And like, why do I say that? It's because we're seeing it in the news again. For the last like 3 years, crypto's been dead, not talked about. We just kind of forget about it. And honestly, you should have been investing during that time, because like this is where we're going to start to see the gains coming into the market and going into that bull run. And, like just in the last 2 months, we've been seeing a lot more movement inside of crypto, a lot more news. A lot of the YouTubers are coming back that are actually covering crypto. So we're moving in the direction of the market. Now you see something huge like the ETF approvals, and we just continuously keep on getting these jumps. And that's exactly how it kind of moves into the bull market until you really start to see a rise. Now, like, people saying like 100,000 Bitcoin, to me, that's easy work. Like I think it hit about 64,000 last time, maybe even 70. I can't remember. But, to think that it's not going to go up another, $30,000, I think is a little bit, crazy if anyone's doubting that. Now for myself, I have been a really big believer in Dogecoin. I mean, in general, I just am a big believer in micro caps. Why? I'm just not a big fan of putting all my money into Bitcoin, because we're only going to probably see it 2x, maybe 3x. And that's in the best road ever. For me, I would rather, and here's the thing, like if you only have $20,000 to your name and you put it in Bitcoin, maybe you can get 20 or like, an extra 20,000 out of it. But if you're going into the micro caps and they all have the potential of a 10x, 30x return, it's so much more efficient for your money. Like you can even just put $5,000 in and potentially see that creep all the way up to $50,000. So, if you don't have a lot of money, I think it makes sense to put your money into more so like micro caps that follow the market. There are safer micro caps than others, but right now the market's so low that all of them have the potential for insane returns. And like, if you guys look at the market, you can see the 2017 bull run, and it has the little, the little movement. Then you have the 2021 bull run, and you see the movement. And it back then, this little one looked like that big one. And you can see that it was completely engulfed and eaten by this new one. And that's going to happen again, or at least, that's the theory. But at minimum, we are going to see the micro caps rise again. And I am just a big believer in, I want to get the biggest bang for my buck. Maybe if you have $100 million and you want to throw in, 20 million into something to just kind of, a 2x return is phenomenal. But if you're a person that's like, doesn't have a lot of money and you're looking for these like really big returns, look, the crypto market is scary as hell anyways. It's dangerous. You could lose a lot. So for me, if I'm going to take a risk on losing, I also want to take a risk on winning really big as well. Like, I want to see that risk to reward ratio being very huge, So yeah, I'm a big believer in the microcaps, and the way that the market works is first Bitcoin goes, then Ethereum follows, and then we start to see the microcaps starting to pop off as well. And I mean, they're going to move right now as well, but I'm talking about those 10x, 20x, 30x returns.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I think that it is not crazy at all to make a safe, obviously nothing is safe, but I think that we can be pretty confident. We can sleep well to know that Bitcoin will go up, and when it happens every time, all the other ones go up as well. So your assessment is correct. All these other microcaps are going to go up with Bitcoin. Everything's going to go up. So you have a good approach on how you want to. You're like, hey, I just want to be an aggressive investor, and I want to throw the Hail Mary and try to fucking 10x, 20x, So, and what I would say is that I have a little different approach. I would, this isn't financial advice, to nobody, especially to the YouTube gods, but my personal, the way that I think about it, and when girls ask me and shit, like whores always ask me, Big Alan, big AP, how do you get so icy? Like, how do you get that shiny Tessie? You know what I'm saying? And I'm always like, baby, listen, sit down, take your clothes off. No, wait. Are you, my bad. Sorry. My bad. Start over. I'll be like, baby, listen, here's what I do. I follow a 70-30 rule. Like, well, there's two. So 70-30, I consider aggressive. So 30% into the microcaps, like Chris is saying, which it's a little bit of a Hail Mary. They might 10x, they might 30x, or they might crash. You never know. So that's why I like to keep it at like 20 to 30%. If I'm at 30% with the Hail Mary, I do the 70% in Ethereum. Very safe to me. Ethereum's going to 2x, 3x, just like Bitcoin, maybe 4x, 5x, especially if we're at these low numbers right now. I mean, Bitcoin's at 46. If they're predicting 100K, yeah, that's a 2.5 x, So you have a guaranteed 2.5, and then you throw maybe 20% of, let's say you have $100 to invest. You throw 70 in something safe. It's gonna 2.5x, and then you Hail Mary the 30%. And if it crashes, you still made money. And if it fucking shoots to the moon, well, then I consider that you can sleep well at night. And
So
that's what I would say.
when I say that is there's a lot of truth in it. The reason why, and that is like, yeah, you are right, but right now, the micro caps are still so low that the drop isn't nearly as large or as scary as it once was. And like, one piece of like advice, call it financial, call it not, but if you want to FOMO, like, you should have been FOMOing before. You should have been, or like FOMO now. The last place to FOMO is when you're up in the market. That's where FOMOing is dangerous. Like me right now, like, I'm seeing it move. Like, maybe I throw in some extra money and maybe it goes back down a little bit. That's an okay FOMO in comparison to where it's supposed to go. The dangerous FOMO is when the market is actually moving, when your mom's talking about cryptocurrency again, when your grandma's saying to you like, "Oh, have you heard about Doge?" That's when the market is probably already moving. And that's where things get very dangerous. That's where a lot of people have made their original mistakes, is they waited till the market was already like up to here. They started FOMOing. It only made it to about right there, and then it came right back down. So like, I do believe that if you want to FOMO now. If you want to be scared now, and make your bad decisions now, because you still have a lot of like room to move, but in
It
not
would
too
be
long.
the best time. Yeah, like right now would be the best time for the Hail Mary. So
Yeah.
that's why you would be a little more confident in throwing it all. You're confident in not investing a dollar in Ethereum and
Mhm.
just going all for the Hail Mary
But I
because
was
you
invested
you
in Ethereum in 2017 or like 2016, like very, very early on into it.
you
I
had
think
some
I
Bitcoin too, right?
Yeah, I bought Bitcoin once. I think I got a double off of it. But like Ethereum, I bought it at 300. And I held
Yeah.
that shit all the way up into like the 2000s. And like I had a decent amount in it and stuff. So it's not like I'm an Ethereum hater or a Bitcoin hater. And like with Alan saying like the 70-30 approach, like Alex Becker, who's a very big like he's very big into crypto, he takes this a similar approach where he might make his gains off of some of the larger cryptos, and then he pours the profits back into micro caps. Once the micro caps reprofit and they come up, he pours them back into either mid cap or into large cap coins again. And then that goes, and he keeps on like cycling that movement. So overall, though, I think it's going to be a good year coming up. I think either it's going to be 2024 or 2025. And, obviously, like I have my fears. I don't think that this is just like a slam dunk for everybody, or maybe it is. It's really hard to say, but I do feel, I feel happier knowing that my money's in the market than not having my money in the market. But
Boom.
let me double on this though.
Bars.
If I had no savings, if I had none of these things, I wouldn't feel safer, to be honest. Like if I, because my skill set is in business, my skill set is in marketing, and I personally would rather have that money available to come up with the next project, to be able to invest, to be able to pay for Facebook ads and influence and things that I know that I can make my return on my investment on, because those things are reliant on your work. They're reliant on how hard can you work and can you solve the problem. Where at the end of the day, when you're putting this money in, you're just like, I'm sitting on my hands with Doge and I'm like, please, Elon, please just make one tweet about Doge. And like, and I'm reliant on other companies. I'm reliant on these other things. So, if you don't have all the money in the world and you don't feel like you have a large savings account, I don't know, teach their own, but that's where I sit with it. But then I also have other friends where they only have $10,000 in their savings account, right? And I'm kind of like, dog, throw that shit in, because I'm like, what other game plan do you have to make any type of money? Like if you're like if I guess this is advice to a friend, not to the viewers, but it's like if you're a person with no plan to make money in the future, no goals, no anything, and you have $10,000 sitting aside, and you don't plan on using it for anything useful anyways, throw that shit in there and hope for the best. And if worse comes to worse, rely on your 401k when you get older if everything goes wrong. Like, I'm not saying take out your 401k, but do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like,
I think so. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Especially if like what you're saying is like, okay, this person isn't going to use this money is sitting in his bank, not making him any more
like if
money.
your rent is paid for, like don't get like you can't be a guy that like you don't like if you have no income, you have no way of paying rent, your
Yeah.
child isn't going to eat. Don't listen to this advice. Keep that money and use it for everything you need. But if you're a person that you have income, the job is stable, money's going to keep on flowing, and you have no plan for this $10,000,
It's never let too much money just sit in your bank, not invested, I guess. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good
And but the thing is like even if you put 10,000 in the S&P or something else, I mean, I guess in 30 years it might be worth, I don't know, an extra $20,000 or something like that. 20,000.
oh no, I think Well, it
I mean,
depends, especially with compounding. I literally just did this thing the other day where I was just like curious. I was like, what would happen if I invested $200 every every month for the next 10 years? It was fucking $500,000, bro.
man, I
Half
mean,
a milli.
yeah, no, there's truth in it.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Just
I'd
sell
hail
your
Mary it
car,
in.
guys. Just
I'd
sell
hail
it.
Mary it in. No,
If
no,
you
no,
got
because
whatever you
no,
have, sell your
I put
car, sell your
thousands and
house.
thousands of dollars every single month into index funds. I do it through like Acorns and some other apps
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And I have my projected return when I'm in my 60s that's like in the millions. And for me, this is kind of my version of a 401k. As an entrepreneur, you don't get a 401k. So this is my version of my 401k.
Yeah.
So there's truth in it, but I don't know. For me, I don't know. Long story short, if I'm in that position, I'm throwing in a quick 10 grand. If you have it on the side, I'd rather like go for it and whatever. And then on top of that, take that extra like if you have a stable job, put that extra $200 a month in and things like that.
Right.
Is kind of my opinion on it. And like
Yeah.
if that return works out and you get 100 grand off that 10,000, then you can go back and put it into the S&P, and then you can actually watch the compounding start to move a little bit faster and different things
Mhm.
like that.
I think we are getting flagged for financial advice. You think
Nah.
we're straight?
Yeah. This is not
That was,
financial advice.
that,
Now we're straight. We're
no,
good.
yeah, then we're good now.
That's all
Yeah.
you say. You just say it one time. Guys, this isn't
This
financial advice.
this one was a good one. This one was definitely a good one. The highest it was at was 64 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
64.
I think that's what I said the first time. I said 64 or 72.
You
So
did. You said, yeah, 65. You said 65. Um, yeah, so that one, whew, if if it hits 100K, bro, I mean, that's a nice 2x. That's a nice 2.5. What's Doge? So in the past year, 1 year, Bitcoin has gone up 160%. So let's see Ethereum. Ethereum in 1 year. Okay, so Ethereum has only gone up 90% in the past year. So 90. Doge, let's see.
but Bitcoin always leads the race.
Yeah, yeah. Doge in the past year,
How are you looking? How are you looking?
4%,
It's good.
4.3,
Moving.
4.3. I'm invested in Solana. Let me see. Let's see 1 year. 1 year. Holy shit. No wonder my shit. No wonder my has gone crazy. In 1 year, Solana went up 500%, bro.